All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So, welcome to the world of demystifying ChatGPT and AI. In this journey, we will unravel the secrets of ChatGPT, an advanced language model developed by OpenAI. So, join us as we dive into the fascinating realm of demystifying ChatGPT and AI, unraveling the mysteries and revealing the wonders of this cutting edge technology. It is my privilege to present to you our esteemed trainer, Sir Piyush. I would like to request Sir Piyush to take it forward. Thank you.
Deanne, thank you very much. Thank you, Garranto. Thank you, the rest of the team. I know very many people work in the background to get this entire act together. Very, very happy, as I said earlier, to see a tight cohort because the tighter it is, the more is the interaction. So very happy to make the most of it and so eagerly looking forward to it. All right, quick words about my background first. So about 25 odd years in the industry, followed by last 6 years in academia, where yes, most of the things that I bring to the table, therefore make the best use of, on the one hand, the research informed and evidence informed perspective, and on the other hand, my practitioner experience. So very happy to use both of them together to be able to see how we make the most of it. And yes, I have a sense of where you guys come from and what kind of a background we have, because we've now been doing these master classes for some time now. So quick words, yes, generative AI has taken the world by storm. Gartner identified generative AI as a top technology trend in 2022 for the industries across the board. As of 12th February 2023, the popularity score of generative AI reached 100 and it has been stagnant since then. All right. What you're looking at is a featured image, right? It is beautiful. The interesting thing is it isn't a painting drawn by some famous artist, nor is it a photo taken by a satellite. The image that you see has been generated with the help of Mid Journey, which is a proprietary AI program that creates pictures from textual descriptions. So let me launch poll number 1 and see if we've got it right. Okay, so this is not the poll I was looking for. So no problem, we will for now just move forward. So yes, that is how big generative AI is seen to be. This is a reader's poll as big as the iPhone, right? And if that is going to be the case, a lot more dollars are going to flow into this space over the coming years. The revolution is explained where Instagram and Spotify took respectively around 2.5 months and 5 months to reach 1 million users. OpenAI's new generative AI powered chatbot, ChatGPT, reached those 1 million users in just 5 days, right? This is after the launch in November 2022. So yes, 5 to 6 days, and it already had over 1 million users. One of the few bright spots of venture right now is generative AI. So yes, the generative AI space is nascent. And so far, the space has seen at least 6 companies reach the unicorn status. Unicorn, as we all understand, these are private startups that are valued at $1 billion+. So yes, news has been all over the place that Samsung is considering switching its default search engine to the new GPT-powered Bing. Google investors are reacting. Shares dropped in the beginning by as much as 4%. So yes, various kind of developments that are leaving the whole world guessing and amused. So what are your thoughts on generative AI or metaverse? So metaverse was the flavor of the season as far as the last year is concerned. The potential of metaverse to create new digital worlds and immersive experiences was seen to be huge. Many investors, of course, poured huge money into startups that were focused on VR, AR, hoping to cash in on the trend. What we do realize, and that is where hindsight is a perfect science, that as we sit today, it's generative AI which has kind of pole vaulted itself to the position of hitting the being there at number one position, right, and far ahead of any other competing technology. So we will not get into the details of how the other technologies were really left behind. The important thing is to be able to be aware that there is a whole plethora of top investors in generative AI, which are all looking to invest and park their monies. And this is the BCG chief talking about generative AI.
Generative AI will be a revolution. Today's everyone and the headlines are focusing on its technical limitations and on productivity gains, but tomorrow it will be a product and business model innovation. And this is why CEOs need to do four things. The first one is to generate responsible AI guidelines dedicated to generative AI. Second, it's to identify the use cases that with generative AI will become a source of competitive advantage. Third, they need to experiment and fully understand the depths of generative AI and how it will impact jobs. Based on that, they will have to redefine their operating model and their organizational blueprint. Fourth, they need to implement a new change management model that takes care of the professional identity of the employees.
All right, so that is the BCG chief for you. So yes, the big catch is that ChatGPT's responses only touch reality at a tangent. So while they may sound convincing, we must not forget that they are ultimately fictional creations of something called the GAN. And we will get to what the business of GAN is all about. But first, we will hear out the man of the moment, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT, who recently admitted that AI chatbot could eliminate many jobs.
On the other hand, there's a huge number of unknowns that could turn out very badly for society. What do you think about that?
We've got to be cautious here. And also, I think it doesn't work to do all this in a lab. You've got to get these products out into the world and make contact with reality, make our mistakes while the stakes are low. But all of that said, I think people should be happy that we're a little bit scared of this. I think people should be
You're
happy.
a little bit scared.
A little bit, yeah,
you personally.
I think if I said I were not, you should either not trust me or be very unhappy I'm in this job.
So what is the worst possible outcome?
There's like a set of very bad outcomes. One thing I'm particularly worried about is that these models could be used for large-scale disinformation. I am worried that these systems, now that they're getting better at writing, could be used for offensive cyber attacks. And we're trying to talk about this. I think society needs time to adapt.
And how confident are you that what you've built won't lead to those outcomes?
Well, we'll adapt it. And also, I think
you'll adapt it as negative things occur?
For sure, for sure. And so putting these systems out now, while the stakes are fairly low, learning as much as we can and feeding that into the future systems we create, that tight feedback loop that we run.
Yes, so that is Sam Altman, the big man of the moment, who says he is a little bit scared. So Midjourney, another one of similar, which is a text to image expertise, AI expertise that was developed, they realized that when they gave challenges to the same, you had abilities that the creators had not foreseen. So Midjourney was asked to make 3 versions of each image, one with collage added to the prompt, another with Salvador Dali, and the third one with Peter Bruegel the Elder. And you could change the illustration style with the toggle that you see on your left below. And the code behind this was, of course, co-authored by GitHub Copilot, which is another AI tool. So ChatGPT, no doubt, is the latest massive internet phenomena, 100 million users in 2 months, with an estimated 13 million users every day in the month of January, right? So when they gave a selection of economist covers to an application developed by Microsoft, once again, it had a combination of a Florence model and OpenAI's GPT-3 to generate text descriptions of images. So from images to text this time, right? This is what it came back with. So have a look. The economist covers are standard and the text description of images is something which AI has generated. In another case, they fed OpenAI's GPT-3 model the opening lines of some famous novels and asked it to continue the story, right? And here is what it came up with. Okay. So this is an example of how an award-winning AI film was brought to life by text to video generation now. So deep learning is now coming to Hollywood. So here AI is used to transform a dancer into a crow, and the result is a haunting and compelling piece that follows the crow through its brief dance in a landscape of post-apocalyptic barrenness to its inevitable demise. So have a look. So a piece of Jane Austen's body of work completed here by AI. So while the crow used an underlying film as an image reference, the same person, Marshall, he had previously earned plaudits for an AI-generated Daft Punk video, where he had applied a different approach, right? So check this out. So phrases are inputted and this generates the animation. The clip culminates with one member of Daft Punk self-destructing in the desert while the other walks off into the distance on his own. So yet another example. There is a lot being displayed in the social media and otherwise these days. This is the power of AI art. While they look like the real person, as we know, they are not. And in this case, the creator had used AI-powered tool like Midjourney to create the lookalike. So it's so hard these days to spot what is real and what is fake. When you look at visualizing ChatGPT's performance in human exams, and this is ChatGPT 3, they've now come out with ChatGPT 4 and 3.5 is already fully operational. So imagine where it would be. And this is the level of competence which is being displayed. This is a conversation with Satya Nadella, as we know, the CEO of Microsoft, a couple of months back within the current year.
In any language, in any Indian language. So a demo I saw was a rural Indian farmer trying to access some government program, right? So he just expressed a complex thought in speech in one of the local languages that got translated and interpreted by a bot, and a response came back saying, go to a portal and here is how you'll access the program. He said, look, I'm not going to go to the portal. I want you to do this for me. And it completed it. And the reason why it was able to complete it was because a developer building it had taken GPT and trained it over all of the Government of India documents and then scaffolded it with this speech recognition software. So think about what that meant, right? That basically meant that a large model, a foundational model that was developed in the West Coast of the United States a few months before, had made its way to a developer in India who then sort of added value to it to make a difference in a remote villager's life. And I've never seen that type of diffusion. To your point about the Industrial Revolution, Klaus, I would say, we're still waiting for the Industrial Revolution to reach some large parts of the world 250 years after. The internet maybe took 30 years. Maybe the cloud and mobile took 15 years. And now I think we're talking months, which to me, I think is perhaps the benefit. Doesn't mean, to your core question.
So will generative AI replace the creativity of humans? The jury is still out. The market is booming up, and away. And anyone, the biggies and the venture funds, huge market map of where they're standing, private, non-exited, generative AI companies. So it has the same why now as AI more broadly. So how is it? Is it better models, more data, more computing? Yes, we will get to all that in a while. So let us first try and understand what is AI. Any one of you guys, do you have any clue what is AI? Please speak up. Don't write it in the chat box. Please speak up, ideally. What do you think is AI? Which are the drivers of AI? Why is it happening now? How is AI different from machine learning, from deep learning, from something called computer vision, neural networks? All of these terms are today being splashed across, right? Does anyone have any clue what on earth is AI?
Hi, Sharma. Can you hear me?
Yes, Govind, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. For me, AI, it stands for artificial intelligence.
Very well.
But deep down, I think it's more of an automated instruction. To call it an intelligence is an insult to a human's intelligence. Sorry, for being frank. But I know we call it artificial intelligence, but I don't think it reaches intelligence. It's basically just an autonomous way of creating instruction.
Very well. Thank you very much for that input. Really appreciate it. Any other value adds, any other reactions to what we just heard? Any other responses? Govind, my compliments to you. You hit it bang on. Yes, it is not intelligent. Yes, let us be clear. This is mimicking of human intelligence, which is very, very different from being intelligent. You and I are intelligent. We understand sarcasm. We understand when somebody is trying to pull a fast one. We understand tens of hundreds of things. This is a machine which, on the strength of some drivers which have just made it the perfect and the most opportune moment, has reached a stage where it can do a computing of a totally different kind and thereby kind of mimic the human intelligence without really being intelligent, and we're going to be talking about it. So the three big drivers of AI today are: one, lots and lots of data. So as much data as has been produced in the last 200,000 years is what has been produced in the last 2 years. And we have still not started counting IoT yet, which is what we are now going to be seeing, a further explosion of data. So lots of data. At another level, lots of computing power available at our disposal. So we know that we started with some very archaic machines a couple of decades back, and today we are talking about very, very powerful computing power, even as we are living in a mobile first world. So in a mobile first and in a cloud first world, not only is this computing power available in a humongous manner, it is also mobile and it is also available all the time, anywhere, on demand computing. So that is a second driver. And the third driver is, of course, very, 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 very sophisticated algorithms. right? This is like algorithms basically refers to code. So very sophisticated softwares that we've now got. So these three things combined are what are the major revolutions which are backing the drivers that are backing AI. But how did we get here? So you would be surprised, even as most of the attention has been garnered by ChatGPT, the product, Sam Altman, the man, OpenAI, the company, and let's say the larger umbrella company of Microsoft. However, it is to the credit of 6 authors of a seminal research paper by Google that actually helped enable OpenAI initially to raise a $1 billion plus in startup funding. And this is where the generative AI, the way the timeline looks like. So more of a reference document. So even as through this section, I have tried to dazzle you with the possibilities of generative AI. This is a section which brings all of it together in a little structured format of how these applications are really panning out. So this is a schematic that describes the platform layer that powers each category and the potential type of applications that can be built on top. So a list of some 30 generative AI
asking what should Harvard's strategy in online education be in a way that preserves the magic of the campus experience. And, it typed out a fine essay, but it was pretty generic. I then cut and paste the essay and gave it back to ChatGPT. And I said, if this was the answer to an essay prompt like this, how would you grade it? And it said, I would give it a grade of C+ because it's not Harvard specific enough, which was absolutely fascinating because I was like, actually, this is not just for giving answers, it's for grading answers. And there's a certain degree of self-awareness, or dare I say humility here.
All right, so this is one example of image generation. This is probably the most prominent use case of generative AI. And this is also leading to creation of something called fake images that look like the real ones, some of which you saw earlier on, right? And once again, image to image translation, okay? Sketches to realistic images. To create a fresh picture altogether, right? To use GANs, we will get to that, what that means, sorry. Generative adversarial networks to produce synthesized speech from text input. Can you generate audio data that can be processed by generative AI? Hell yes. Video, a set of moving visual images, once again generated by AI.
Welcome everybody to GAN Theft Auto. What you see here is me playing inside of a neural network's environment. This neural network was trained by watching a bot play Grand Theft Auto 5 on this particular stretch of highway, learning how to generate new frames from previous frames and player input. So
researchers have even used GAN to create a much higher resolution version of an image by figuring out what each individual pixel is and then creating a higher resolution of that.
The frames
Deanne, can you confirm that you guys can hear me and that the screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm
Yes.
sorry for that lost connection. Thank you so much for chipping in. So while we live in a world, and I talked earlier on about overflowing with data that is being generated in great amounts continuously, the problem of getting enough data is not going to be there because they have cracked something called synthetic data, which is the example that you just saw. All right. So this synthetic data is what is about to transform AI. The people that you see on your screen, they do not exist. These faces were artificially generated using a form of deep learning known as GAN, Generative Adversarial Network. So yes, generative AI use cases and applications abound, as many as you wish to kind of imagine. So yes, the purpose of our meeting today is to be able to demystify ChatGPT, right? Is it? How do we understand it? How do we move forward? All right, so a few things first. So what is GAN? We will not get into the technicality of it in this session, but for those unfamiliar with GAN, they're a type of neural network that use two competing networks, one of which is a generator and the other is a discriminator. To do what? To create realistic looking outputs. So the generator creates fake outputs and the discriminator tries to tell the difference between the fake output and real world data. And through this back and forth process, the GAN is able to produce outputs that are indistinguishable from real data. So we'll watch this video, which will make clear everything about how ChatGPT works and what it is all about.
Meet John, a talented programmer who is looking to start a company that used his personally developed mobile application to connect restaurants and customers for booking and reservations. Even though the app was ready, John had difficulty getting together a team for his startup, needing separate people for sales, marketing, programming, content creation, and customer support. Hiring reliable manpower while being strict with his budget was getting difficult. He reached out to his friend Ryan, who said John could start his company without hiring any new people, thanks to just a single AI-based tool. John couldn't believe it, which led Ryan to introduce Chat-GPT, the revolutionary AI chatbot being developed by OpenAI. It is a state-of-the-art natural language processing, or NLP model, that uses a neural network architecture to provide responses. This means that the Chat-GPT bot can answer questions without being explicitly told what the answer is using its own intellect, unlike previous AI chatbots. So, how does Chat-GPT help John in filling out his team? Regarding sales, Chat-GPT can provide full-fledged sales pitches based on the correct prompts. It can provide tips on how to pitch your product to businesses, removing the need for sales training. Completely customized to your requirements and your prompts. If you don't like some things about the response, you can ask for certain changes, and the chatbot will make sure they are done. When it comes to marketing, ChatGPT can provide efficient marketing strategies, which can help new entrepreneurs learn how to market their products to prospective clients. It can provide trending keywords that marketers can use for SEO purposes, while providing ad copies for your website and blog. Speaking of websites, since John can do a lot of the heavy lifting in programming, ChatGPT can help proofread the code and help out when looking for bugs to fix. Apart from basic bug fixing, it can also provide sample code structures for different programming languages, allowing John to focus more on improving core functionality and workflow, rather than fixing basic code errors. Websites and blogs content is very helpful in gathering potential customer leads. The revolutionary bot can provide full-length blog posts with near-perfect fast accuracy in seconds, allowing further customization, like choosing the length of the subject matter to the complexity of language. For John's customer support, the bot can draft complete customer service emails based on the situation, saving time and resources. The tone of the message can be changed to reflect the nature of the message, creating an efficient alternative for call center professionals. John was left speechless seeing this level of versatility from ChatGPT and wanted to implement it right away. However, Ryan made sure John knew about some drawbacks of the chatbot before getting started. Since the bot is trained mostly on data up to 2021, many of the newer events may still need to be discovered by ChatGPT. Even basic stuff like asking about the current date and time is beyond its scope. much like the limited understanding of context despite providing near lifelike solutions to certain problems. Even the accuracy of many responses can be questioned since the AI model is still learning and being developed. There is a section of the public that believes the revolutionary tool can one day replace Google search. But that day seems far-fetched so far because of the variety of issues people keep running into when using ChatGPT. However, ChatGPT poses a lot of promise for the future of AI. From full-scale automated divisions and organizations to serving as the perfect digital assistant, OpenAI is creating a bot for the future aimed at solving the problems of today with the tools of tomorrow. The ability to carry out a myriad of tasks with minimum manpower will boost productivity at organizations in every sector, thanks to the revolutionary ChatGPT.
So this is how we typically structure this session. The 40 minutes are spent on sharing some slides, some concepts, some applications, and some stuff. In the end, in the last 10 minutes, I try and answer the most common questions that I'm asked when I go around the world doing these masterclasses and workshops. So happy to answer those questions first, post which we would still have some 15-20 minutes to be able to do some meaningful engagement on any other specifics that one may have. So yes, what is ChatGPT? Govind was right. It is an AI chatbot system. Who released it? A company called OpenAI. When did they do it? In November. Why? Because they claimed they wanted to show off and test what a very large, very powerful AI system can accomplish. So as we just heard, you can ask it countless questions and often will get an answer that is useful. For example, you can ask, explain Newton's laws of motion. You can ask, write me a poem, right? But as Govind was saying, the catch is ChatGPT does not exactly know anything. It is an AI that is trained to recognize patterns. So recognition of pattern recognition is an important thing in the business of AI, of machine learning. This is a system that is trained to recognize patterns in vast swaths of text harvested from the internet. Over and above that, it is further trained with human assistance to deliver more useful and better dialogue. So the answers that you get, they may sound plausible, even authoritative, but they might well be entirely wrong. Now, the next question that I typically get asked is, what kind of questions? So practically anything, even as you might not get an answer. So OpenAI typically suggests a few categories like explaining physics, asking for birthday party ideas, getting programming help. As we just saw, the expertise is broad and its ability to follow a conversation is notable. So when you ask for words, for example, that rhyme with purple, it offers a few suggestions, but were you to follow it up with, how about with pink? It wouldn't miss a beat, So it's very human that way in terms of its ability to carry on a conversation. All right. So as we said earlier, it is the brainchild of a company called OpenAI, which is an AI research company. They declare their mission to be to develop a safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence system, or to help others do so. No more than 375 employees. And as Sam Altman claims, they've managed to pull together the most talent-dense researchers and engineers in the field of AI. Have they made splashes before? What you saw earlier on, GPT-3, which could generate text that can sound like a human wrote it. Remember those examples of novels, Jane Austen and all? And then with DAL-E, which is what created what is now called generative art based on text prompts that you could type in, right? But it's not totally automated. I remember, Govind, you used the word automated. So automated is a loaded word. We would not get into the technical details right now. Humans evaluate ChatGPT's initial results in a process called fine-tuning. So pattern recognition, fine-tuning. Fine-tuning is an important aspect of AI machine learning. And human reviewers apply guidelines that open AI's models in generalized form from. So yes, they've also been, they did hire a Kenyan firm that, people were paid up to $3.74 per hour to review thousands of snippets of text for problems like violence, sexual abuse, hate speech, etc. As we perhaps now realize responsible AI is a thing. There are issues of privacy, of bias, of tens of other issues related to the negative aspects of AI. But as we discussed earlier, ChatGPT does not actually know anything the way you and I do. It's just able to take a prompt, find relevant information in its oceans of training data, and convert that into plausible sounding paragraphs of text. Question: is ChatGPT free? Yes, for the moment at least. They have introduced a paid version that responds faster, keeps working even during peak usage hours. But as Sam Altman once told, I think a couple of weeks back, to the potential investors, that it expects 200 millions in revenue and 1 billion in 2024 as revenues, right? So what are the limitations then? So ChatGPT can give you wrong answers and can give a misleading impression of greatness. So as far as research journals are concerned, the journal Science banned ChatGPT text in January, saying that an AI program cannot be an author. So yes, but with as many other technology developments, it is not a simple black and white situation. So we've been scared about the encyclopedia and the search engines and Wikipedia. So yes, ChatGPT offers new abilities for everything from helping with research to doing your homework for you kind of outright. It can, much of its answers actually sound like student essays, though often with a tone, I would say, which is stuffier and more pedantic than what you would expect. So as far as the teaching community is concerned, not with 100% certainty, but yes, technology is available and that technology is also being used by academic institutions. Surprise, surprise, ChatGPT can even write software, but with caveats. So ChatGPT can retrace steps that humans have taken. It can generate actual programming code. What takes otherwise hours of work, it can do in less than 10 minutes. And that is like heavy duty software programming work that we're talking about. So yes, designed to weed out inappropriate requests, as OpenAI claims in its mission, to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. So it typically gives such an answer that, if you ask ChatGPT itself as to what is off limits, it will say, any questions that are discriminatory, offensive, or inappropriate. And, this includes questions that are racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, otherwise discriminatory or hateful. Is it better than Google search? That big ticket question. So Google, as we realize, often supplies us with suggested answers to questions and with links to websites that it thinks will be relevant. However, ChatGPT's answers far surpass what Google will suggest. So it is easy to imagine, I would say, that GPT-3 is a rival. As we saw in that video, Google, ChatGPT did trigger a code red emergency within Google. And this is according to the New York Times, and drew Google co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin back into active work. So Microsoft could possibly build ChatGPT. They already have done that into the rival search engine Bing. So yes, you never know where we finally land up. All right, this brings us to the end of what we had started with. We have good, neat, clean 20 odd minutes to do some more meaningful discussion. I will stop sharing the screen and I will also turn on my video for us to be able to have no, video is on. I only need to convert it from my avatar to my, how do I take off the avatar business now? Yes, give me one moment. Sorry, I was experimenting with the avatar, but I think, can you guys see me here? No. Okay, give me a moment. So much for technology expertise. Okay. Ask your question. In the meanwhile, we can start. I have to take off the show avatar. Yeah, here I am, people. And happy if you guys could also turn on your videos. It makes our interactions far more engaging. Thank you, Janet. Happy to see you also here. Thank you for all your efforts. Yes, people. So questions, comments, observations, discussions. Yes, Michelle, let me read what you've written. Is the usage of ChatGPT unethical in content creation, as we do not know where the response generated is sourced from? No, it is not unethical. Unethical and illegal are terms which require far more nuanced regulatory lens. So the way it works is, if I am appearing for an examination, and in examinations, tomorrow you're going to be having an interview with me, and you prepare yourself with the help of a Wikipedia, with the help of a Google search engine, with the help of, going through tons and tons of books. Will it be considered unethical? No. However, the questions that you are asked tomorrow, first you have a written test, and in that written test, you take the help of a paper written by some other experts to give an answer where verbatim you reproduce what is written out there. It will tantamount in the academic integrity standards as an act of plagiarism. So yes, it will both be illegal and unethical. So usage of ChatGPT per se is not unethical. It is just another tool available to us. And yes, we as human beings need to become aware of and get ready to make AI a co-worker, make technology a co-worker, and benefit from the fact that all of these technologies can be used in tandem. For example, I use this old technology, which is a technology outside of my human body, to enable me to have a 6x6 vision. Right? Your second question, what can be done to protect intellectual property? So there are ways and ways in which they are trying to skin the cat, but honestly speaking, thank you very much, Michelle, for asking that question. Technology is almost always running ahead of regulation, and technology is changing so fast and the world is changing so fast that regulation just doesn't seem to be catching up. So yes, at least in 4 different notable cases in the world, the US, the Americas, the Chinas and Koreas on the other hand, let's say the European version as a third version, and I would say the Indian version as another version, all of them at various levels of freedom, sometimes in the favor of the consumer and mostly in favor of the technology operator, are trying to figure out rules as to what is responsible, what will be considered ethical, unethical, where are the limits, what should be allowed to be done. So there is, the jury is big time out to be able to, debating the fact of whether it is good for humanity, whether it is an equivalent arms race that you are seeing and which could lead to the collapse of the world. There are big ticket people like Elon Musk warning against the dangers of AI, and there are protagonists who are vouching for what AI could do for humanity. So that is still out. Are there any regulations on ChatGPT usage for specific feeds? Like I said, academia, not regulations, but individual. For example, I did brief just now about the journal Science saying that it cannot be an author. But yes, if I take the help of ChatGPT to kind of enhance my piece and use it as a piece where I have benefited from this, maybe where it is required, by giving due credit to taking the sources help for wherever there may be copyright, trademark, etc. issues, and maybe where it is not required, I could get away with it. So it depends upon case-to-case basis. Okay. All right. Those were very important questions, Michelle. Thank you very much for being so proactive and engaging. I hope they did make sense. Yes, Govind and the rest of the team, Saranchi, Zetu, Lim, Jong, Tanuj, Azli Shah. Most welcome. Happy to take any questions, comments, observations, discussions, anything, anyone. Yes, Michelle again.
Hi, Sharma, can you hear me?
Yes, Govind, I can, and you can call me Piyush. Thank you.
All right. So I know Google has their own AI called Bot, is it? And then there is also Bing AI. So why are these processes has their own limitation?
Why does what have its own limitations?
Yeah, I mean, if we talk about this AI as one generic name, when I give question to Bart, then I give a question to ChatGPT, why aren't they giving me the same answers, assuming they both has the same pool of data? Sorry.
All right. So I have a sense of what you're asking, even as partially we had lost your audio, but that's okay. Let me see if it fits what you have asked, and happy to share that with you. So one, you, me, and 100 others inside of a hall will sit with our machines and open our Google search engine. And we will ask a simple question called, what is an apple? Okay. We will get 100 different responses. Are you aware about it? I'm only talking Google search engine right now. A Google search engine for me will give an answer which will talk about apple being a fruit, because Google has indexed Piyush Sharma as an agriculture enthusiast, as a horticulture enthusiast. But Google to a Govind may give an answer and talk about Apple's latest products, Apple, the technology company. At yet another level, for a Janeth or a Deanne, Google may give a totally different kind of an answer as to how an apple is different from an orange. So do you see that Google will give an answer depending upon the way it has indexed and personalized you for knowing already as to what your interests are and what you could be seeking. And that is why we love Google, because there is such a high level of hyper personalization that it is mind boggling. Moving to the second level. We will Bing and Bard when you talk about. So Bing is just a Google search engine equivalent, and Bard is totally, so Google acquired this. So December of 2014, Google was nowhere in the game of AI. They acquired this company called DeepMind, and surprise, surprise, as of January 2015, Google was the second most powerful AI company under the sun after Baidu. So yes, Google has worked its way up the AI chain. Like I said, Google was the first one actually to, produce that seminal paper, 6 authors at Google, as far as large foundational, large text-based models are concerned, which is what ChatGPT and the current revolution, generative AI, is completely based on. The important thing is, you will get different answers, because it is not as if the same data is being used. It is that data is also undergoing a level of personalization. They are very clear that they are talking to a Janeth or a Piyush or a Saran or a Lim, and accordingly they are serving you what you need. And that is what modern day marketing, retargeting, remarketing is all about. All right, Azil Shah, yes, so Shah, okay. All right, so Shah, that is a fear which I would say is not unfounded. It will result in job transformations, I would say. So yes, some of us may lose our jobs, and some of us may fit into and kind of work our way up into new roles, new jobs. Is there a reason to be afraid? Yes and no, I would say, depending upon where you sit and what kind of a job you currently are in. There are jobs which could be replaced within a year or two, and there are jobs which could, as it is believed today, may never be replaced, and there are jobs which part of which may be replaced, right? So for example, a regular customer ticket generation or a regular, bot operations, as we see in the banking and finance industry, are jobs which are most vulnerable to such a loss. Now, as far as the specific field of academia is concerned, and being an educator is a very, very tall order, and even as edtech has happened to the world, and even as tens of hundreds of other alternative ways of learning are there, I do not think personally that an educator per se will lose a job to any such technology intervention. So technology is a friend. One has to look at using the tools of technology, the techniques, to be able to use it to still enhance ourselves. The way we learn today is classically different from how our parents learned. We learn anywhere, how we want it, where we want it, howsoever we want it, with different kind of sources contributing to what we want. So I guess our ability to make the most of it is case to case basis. And what we need to do is keep an eye out, be watchful, be careful, keep unlearning what we've got and relearning what is new on the horizon. So how is it that it is coming from you, Janeth? But anyway, so how much AI we can accurately use in business? So AI is not a commodity where there are any units, but honestly, AI is being used heavily at this point in time, as we know. So I will give you an example. I am imagining, Abdul, that you use Google search, it uses AI. I'm imagining you use Google Maps, it uses AI. I'm imagining you use an Amazon Alexa, it uses AI. So AI is already all around us. It's just that we do not realize it. And within the last 6 months, the way it has moved forward, Satya Nadella and many others have already said that it is a revolution as big as, if not bigger, as that of electricity, of wheel, of fire. They are comparing it to that level. So yes, it is being used big time, and there are good reasons to believe that it will only become more and more ubiquitous. So it is moving from a stage of emergence to a stage of adoption to becoming that stage of ubiquity. All right, I'm still looking for questions. And if there are no questions, we still have 10 minutes. And I would like to use these 10 minutes to give you guys a quick demo. So I will first share my screen. And yes, you can still ask questions. I'm still around. Happy to make the most of what we have here. But questions are most welcome. In the meanwhile, those of us who may not have yet opened their ChatGPT account or use, how many of you, can I ask, has anyone been using ChatGPT? You guys can see my screen. Can you confirm, Janet and Diane?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfecto. All right, we have something in the chat. Michelle is, Govind is, so at least a few of us have been using ChatGPT. So, okay, I have an account. Under normal circumstances, you just will have to, it's as simple as what we do always, create that account. So since I have an account, I will just log in and we will have some fun. But we do have a 16-hour program, as I'm told, which runs every weekend, and which is where we delve deeper. And, to some of the questions that you've asked, we are able to give 3 kinds of perspective: a technology, a business, and a people perspective. So where in business it is being used, in which industry it is being used, right, are things which, just give me a moment, are things which we cover in detail in those. So while this is a masterclass, that's a full-fledged session, post which you also get some credits from your respective governments, certification, etc. But more of those details are available. Okay, so this is the kind of, when you are using a free account, this is a kind of message that you get. It's very unfortunate. I haven't seen it in the last 30 days ever with me. But for some reason, I think their servers are extremely busy. So sorry about that. But just go ahead. It is as easy as using anything that you guys use. I'm sure you're using far more complex things than this. Trust me, it is very easy and you will love it. I would have wanted to show you some capabilities of AI. So let me just quit it all and launch it again and hope that we will succeed. Are there no more questions? We still have good official 5 minutes. All right. So I guess it's not in a mood. The servers are down. So they must be very busy right now because the world is using it. So if you guys are not using it, go right ahead and use it. Because ChatGPT, while imperfect, is doubtless showing the way to our technical future. Yes, my dear. Somebody was speaking.
Hi, Sharma. Yeah, Satya. Can you hear
Yes.
me? Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
Satish.
having some problem with my speakers and mic. Sorry. Recently, I came to know that those guys like the founders of this AI, they claim that they don't really know how the system works. They claim like this is like a black hole. Is it true, or they're just not telling us the truth?
No. Everyone knows how the system works. I mean, the fundamentals and the concept level clarity exists with everyone. So how do you train a child? Okay, giving you a very simple analogy, and metaphors are oversimplified things. So please take it in the right spirit. How does a child work? So I have this new child and I show child a photograph of a cat and that of a dog, right? Most likely tomorrow, so this is the learning of the day. Most likely tomorrow morning, when I show it the photograph of a hyena and that of a tiger, it will identify the hyena as a dog and the tiger as a cat. Till I educate the child and tell it that, okay, this was a dog, this was a cat. However, this is a hyena and this is a tiger. The next day, it will not get it wrong, right? Now, this kind of training happened because I provided it more data. And the child was able to recognize the pattern of the difference between a tiger and a cat, the length of the tail, the pattern of spotting or stripes or whatever that it had, the size of the face. It was also able to see how a dog was characteristically different from that of a hyena. So this is what is known as pattern recognition in layman's terms. Now, how is one doctor greater than the expertise of one doctor greater than one specialist greater than that of another in the same field? If this doctor has operated on 40,000 heart surgeries versus another rookie who's just done about 1,500 heart surgeries, who would you go with? The one with 40K. Why? Because his experience, that he would have most likely gone through the most rare of the rare kind of heart surgeries to have delivered a percentage of a 98% in both the cases, right? So a 98% on 40,000 surgeries is far more than 99% on 1,500 surgeries, right? Which means if you have that kind of a data available at the disposal of a system, any human being, you and I cannot process more than this much data. But this machine can tackle humongous amounts of data without getting at all tired or exhausted for hours and hours, for days and days, for years and years. If you have all the data in the world, large language model fed into a system and ask it a question, what is the best way in this particular? So that is why prompting becomes important. In the case of generative AI, ChatGPT, just as querying was important in the case of a Google search, in this case, prompting, the way you structure your prompt is what determines how intelligent and how relevant an answer you get. And yet you still cannot trust it. So no, it's not as if it's a black hole. They don't know. Everyone knows how the whole system works. Conceptually, they know it. So it is very clear. So that must be some other context. I wouldn't think that they are trying to pull a fast one. That must be some other context. Do you have any specific on prompt engineering? Yes, I think at Garranto, we also run a prompt engineering course. So we have two kind of courses. One of them is, it's not called prompt engineering, but it's called data analytics and prompting or something. So maybe the admin team will come back to you for sure. But specifically on generative AI, on demystifying AI from a try add of perspective on a business technology people playbook, that is the most popular course that we run on AI, is one of the ones that gives a very thorough, complete deep dive into the business of generative AI. Yes, so Garranto will come back to you as Shah. We will come back, all right? Govind, thank you. And people, we've hit the clock. Are there any other questions, comments, observations, discussions, anything, anyone? If not, this is my request to you guys. If you guys would kindly turn on your videos before they issue your certificates to you guys. It's a formality that they do. They need to have a photograph for each one of us who are present. So howsoever camera ready you are, requesting all of you guys to quickly turn on your video for a moment. Yes, thank you. Good to see you guys. Thank you for your questions, Michelle. Good to see you also. Goben, Chicken, Saran, please quickly. Everyone needs to also go away. All right, some technical problem with Govind. Yes, John, you're looking handsome, man. All right, all yours, my team at Garranto. Let us know when you're done. Are you done, Diane? All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir, done.
You have a good, great rest of the day ahead. Thank you so much, Janet and Diane and Shriman and the rest of the team at Garranto for all your assistance always. And look forward to seeing you guys sometime in one of the classes. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.